All right. So continuing the Conjuring.
Yeah.
Yeah, we left off. Last time we left off at the part where it's 3 a.m. and they get the first occurrence on the video recorder, and then we hear a moaning, which we didn't hear. We didn't hear it the first time it was recorded. We just heard dead silence.
Well, we didn't hear while they were recording it. We didn't hear when they listened to the recording the first time, and
Yeah,
now we're
and now
finally
we're
hearing
getting
it.
that 3:07. Dun dun dun.
Just like the clocks were stopping at the house.
Yeah, the time of death for the witch.
Yeah.
Satan, Love, and Witch.
So scene cuts and they're arriving to the house, and it's Ed, Lorraine, and their assistant.
Yeah, it's basically they're bringing all their equipment, right?
Yeah.
Because they need to get the evidence to perform the exorcism to the house.
And they're holding all the equipment in a nice Volkswagen
Oof.
van.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classical. And we got the introduction of the cop that's
Yeah.
helping them out. This
It's
porn
Brad?
star looking guy.
No.
Oh, what?
Porn star looking. He's got the
Dude,
stash.
he does have the stash.
he's got the
Carlos is right.
sideburns.
Carlos is right, ladies and gentlemen. He's like a 70s fucking porn star over here.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that I think it's kind of interesting that they're bringing a cop into the investigation. Is that
Yeah.
for a sense that you need to get a skeptic in here, or I don't understand why they brought a cop.
I think it made sense. I can't really
Dude,
explain
I don't
it to
know
you.
why it made sense to me. I mean, I don't know
didn't
why it
question
makes
Now that
sense.
you're questioning it, I'm questioning it. I'm like, why would they need him? It's not like they're gonna arrest the ghost.
Yeah, because it's not a. Well, I mean, I don't know about arresting the ghost. Oh, we get a. Okay, guys, we get a little cool montage of the assistant for Ed and Lorraine Warren setting up all the cameras
Yeah.
and no, not cameras. They're setting up all the audio devices in every room.
Also cameras. No.
Oh yeah, but photograph.
Yeah,
Photographs,
still
not
photos, yeah.
yeah, still photos. We're not getting any video evidence. Besides the camera that they actually have held up, because later on they do have a camera that they're walking around
And it's
with.
super funny because he goes, "Oh, it's so light," and the camera's fucking huge.
Dude, it's a bulky ass fucking camera. Oh my god, it's so light. What's going on with this? And I'm over here with a fucking phone, you know, doing 10 times the job that camera would do.
Yeah. So they're setting up everything around the house. Right now we got Mr. Lorraine over here setting up another still camera on the outside facing the witch's tree that she was hanging off of. I want to point this out here just because we don't come back to that camera.
We don't. I was expecting like a still
Something.
photo, you know, like of maybe
Anything.
just the feet hanging.
I think
Anything.
they did it because obviously they have to put something out there, but like in the real world, you're not gonna get evidence in every room.
24/7.
And get
Yeah,
me
sometimes
so
you get stuff, sometimes you don't, and that's completely understandable for all you guys that follow shows that involve like ghost hunting and stuff like that. So I mean, it makes sense. And right now we get a quick view of Lorraine's actual ability, right, where her clairvoyance.
yeah.
She basically sees a picture because they're inside, they're moving a lot of stuff, and there's a picture of the family with it looks like they're in the, I don't know, they're at some beach, and she touches the mother's hand and she actually gets a glimpse of what was happening, and she's like, oh my god, like what a happy time for you guys. And apparently that meant the world to her, and she's super like happy about that picture.
Yeah.
Brings you to a really good place. So we get a hint of her clairvoyance ability, which is amazing. And just we get an image of something that's really dear to the mother.
Yeah. Coming into play later.
Yeah.
Scene cuts and it's the assistant with the older daughter.
Hell yeah.
And they have a
They have a little moment, dude, that they never
Yeah.
come back to.
they really don't.
they don't. Well, it's just to show the black light right here. I
Yeah.
guess.
I fucking love it, dude. How
Yeah, she's talking about how the black light is groovy.
it's groovy as
It's
fuck, dude.
groovy. And then they just looked at each other and then boom, Ed interrupts.
It's cock blocking the man, dude. Yeah, already locked up and loaded, sir. Everything's good to go. And Ed's like looking around. He's like, okay, really? And they hear a bell jingle. A door opens up. It
'Cause
creaks
they put
open.
bells in all
Yeah,
the
they put
doors.
bell in all the doors during the montage. And then it turns out that it's the cop that is taking a piss or a shit completely, and he's just throwing shit everywhere like an asshole.
And everyone's staring at him and he's like, what?
I had to go.
So I guess that's why the cop's here. He's the comic relief.
He's the comic relief, dude. Makes sense. Now we get an image of the assistant with Ed actually testing out the audio in every room. Every room has its own specific mic in there. They're connected with some headphones. They're hiring the volume they hear emptiness, which is
Yeah, they got a mixer they're playing with.
yeah. There you go. They got a mixer. Boom. Hire one. Nothing. Hire the other one, and they see the camera go into that room, which I think it was great seeing that they're
Yeah.
showing us how everything's being recorded.
And now Ed is looking at his equipment here, showing off some holy water.
And crosses that he's gonna place all over the house, or the first floor at least.
Yeah, and the husband is asking about them, and it's like, oh yeah, it's just to piss him off. It's about, well, it's like they said before, they're trying to find activity,
Yeah.
so they're instigating the presence to make it appear.
Mm-hmm.
Here we get
A bell.
another bell. They go back to the main hall that leads up to the front door. They're looking at it through the kitchen side, I guess. They go to the hall. Door's opening. It's the door to the basement that they had found. The
And-
door's opening slowly, and we get the camera click. It takes a picture because they do say that the cameras take picture when there's a giant drop in temperature,
Yeah.
which is what activates the still camera.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get the cop recording. He's holding that giant camera, which according to him is super light. And they're recording Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they're like, okay. They mentioned the day, the time. He's like, okay, and we're gonna go to the basement where we just had the door open by itself. Again, this is them trying to collect evidence.
I really like the way that they did the scene because it's like the point of view of the
Of that cam,
microphone, and you
and-
can't really hear them. So-
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're getting the audio from what Ed is holding. He's holding a giant, basically,
Microphone.
microphone. That's what it is, and we get to hear that audio. But we see the camera angle that the police is holding, which is also, I guess, shittier quality than the whole movie. So you could tell like they're trying to bring us back to that time,
Well, it's found footage. Trying
basically.
to show some
Yeah.
found footage
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
there you go.
And I always appreciate those found footage movies. I think it takes certain creativity to make it work well,
Yeah,
and it works well here. Like there's it's the way that it narrows a point of view down to one person, right? And like right here, for example, like he was focusing here on Ed, then Ed notices his wife across the room.
And she's
yeah.
like
She's
bent
like
bent
she's
down.
hunched
Yeah.
over. She's hunched over, like, oh shit, like
She said
Ed-
something bad happened.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
like there's something bad happening. There's something definitely here. Like, okay, it's gone. I got nothing. Okay, cool. They start walking up the stairs. Ed takes off his headphones. He puts the EVP down. I mean
The microphone.
the microphone down. They're just walking up the stairs, kind of disappointed. They hear a thud. They
No,
turn
they hear
around.
the piano. They hear the piano.
Yeah, I don't know why the subtitles just say thud.
That's dumb.
Yeah, that's pretty.
All right, whatever, ladies and gentlemen. Don't put the fucking subtitles on because they're wrong.
Anyways, they hear a piano and they're almost close to the top of the stairs, and they hear the piano and they turn around and they're like, whatever, and they just go back. And once they get out of that
The basement
the
door.
basement door closes and it almost hits the mom.
Yeah, it slams in front of their face.
Closes by itself.
And then we get that other angle, I guess, of the cop holding the camera, and he recorded that. He got that all on tape, and you could see in his face that he was like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
if this man was a skeptic, which they never bring up,
I mean,
like,
I'm
shit,
pretty sure
it's
he
gone
is.
now. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think it's heavily implied by him working as
Yeah.
a cop, right?
yeah.
He's cause after that it's like it's a scene with the assistant of Ed and Lorraine and the cop, and he's like, oh, I saw your face, you look pretty spooked.
You look pretty spooked.
And he's like, no. And then he was like kind of like, yeah, you did. And then the cop just, I believe the time, and it's 3:08. So the time didn't stop at 3:07 the way every night had stopped before.
Yeah.
Well, not time stopping, but the clock stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a cool ghost
Yeah.
story. Then.
That'd be some crazy ass powers, dude. He's a fucking ghost.
Fuck yeah.
And we get after that we get a whole scene of the I think it's
next morning.
completely the next morning we get a completely different environment. Everyone's super happy, and they're having breakfast, all of them together, and they mention how, wow, like I haven't felt the house like this like in the longest time, you know?
Super warm.
Yeah, super warm. There you go. Like super lively. Like the kids are laughing, they're running up and down. Like it's a completely different feeling. Then it goes to Ed and Lorraine outside, and she's like, "Oh, they have such a beautiful family." And yeah, and that little one, April. Like, did you see the way she brought me the pancakes? And yeah, and they're like laughing. They're having a good time because it's a very, very nice house that they. I mean, it's a very nice family that they have. It's something that seems really nice, and it's a big family.
And now that they have time to connect to them, Lorraine's like, no, we need to really help them.
And then fucking Ed is like, all right, I'll start with the Chevy. Because he has a broken down Chevy out in the back that he was talking about fixing up with him.
Yeah.
Which never gets brought into the actual plot.
But he's a man, dude.
But
He's a
no,
man.
well,
He's
no,
to
the
work
whole
in the car.
reason,
He's
the
to
whole
work in the
reason
car.
for the Chevy is to get him away from Lorraine for this scene, because Lorraine
Yeah.
is putting up the laundry for some reason. She's the one doing it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they told the mom to take a break, to take a nap, because
Oh,
she
okay,
hasn't
okay.
been sleeping, that they would take care of the house. And
Perfect.
that's when you get this scene.
Where she's putting up the sheets, and then a giant gust of wind is coming in. It looks like rain's coming in because giant black clouds coming in, and it kind of darkens the entire spot that she's in. And she's like, "Okay, well, I got to take down these sheets. It looks like rain's coming." And while she's trying to get one of them, it actually flies
Flies
away
away.
from the line, hits something that it shouldn't. It hits.
Yeah, it hits something that's there, and it kind of wraps around this figure, and it
Yeah.
looks like a figure of a woman just standing there, like of a person.
Yeah, a person standing there and just like it would if she was being stared at by this person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And so it wraps around it like you know that presence is there, and then it that very moment
It flies to the window up where the mom is.
Where she's taking a nap, apparently, because you can't even take naps with this fucking ghost. Because, like Carlos was saying, it hits the figure, it goes up to the window where the mom is staying, and then the horrible CGI, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, of this cloth, it disappears, it goes to the side, and then you see an actual woman standing at the window.
Yeah.
Like it took the cloth over there, you know what I mean? And then we get the image of the mother taking a fucking.
She was
taking
asleep,
a nap,
dude. She was
dude.
taking a nap, and she gets like 3 finger marks, like bruises already.
Dude, she looks fucking tired.
Yeah.
well, I think this is a moment of possession, right?
Yeah.
Because she's sleeping, she's very vulnerable, and then she just gets startled. She starts like gasping, and then you could see over her this figure of
The witch.
The
the
witch.
witch.
The
It's
witch.
this dead woman hovering over her, and they're looking at each other, and then the witch spits something into her.
Like it looked red. I don't
It
want
looked
to say
red,
it's
blackish.
blood because it looked
I
really
want to say
clear.
like bile or something. Like
maybe.
maybe it's some like ectoplasm stuff or something, right?
Yeah, it looked fucking disgusting. So it throws up in her mouth or whatever.
And Lorraine's running, right? Running to the mom, but she doesn't get there in time. The mom's in the restroom, and Lorraine goes to the room. She tries to open the bathroom. She won't open it. She goes to the door on the outside of the room in the hall, and that's where the mom comes out. And she's like, "Oh, I'm fine." She's like, "Are you sure? Are you okay?" Like, and she's like, "No, I'm fine." "Oh, I think I hear the girls." And she like completely blows off Lorraine.
Then this is where they go. After that, the scene just ends right there, and it goes to obviously what you mentioned. The girls came in with the husband, and he sees Ed working on the Chevy like he said he was. He's like, "Oh, you got a real nice build here, whatever." And they start talking about some parts. I think this is a scene that's kind of okay.
It's less about the car and more about them just talking.
Yeah. So they just have the two guys just going back and forth. How the husband mentions that he was a little bit skeptical of what was going on, and he just wants to thank him for coming out here. And this is where Ed like kind of just like, hey, you know what? Like I didn't even want to come out here, and the all the credit is towards Lorraine. She's the one who wants to take care of your family. And he mentions the reason why he didn't want to come because every time that something happens to Lorraine, like she sees things, feels things, like it takes a toll on her, and it takes a little piece at a time, like away from Lorraine. So it hurts her, in a way. This ability is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
He mentions how in the past, like about a couple months ago, I believe he says, or a month ago,
Yeah.
something like that, that Lorraine saw something that was very, very bad, and
And
it took a big chunk out of
Yeah,
her.
and it shows the clip that they had showed to the class earlier in the movie.
Yeah, and they show that. Yeah, you're right. They show that clip, and they
Well, it
show
was like
Lorraine
an
there.
extended version of that clip because they didn't show the whole
Yeah,
clip last
they
time.
like to when they were showing it to the class, they stopped it like right before Lorraine saw something, and then we get to see the part where Lorraine sees something. And she's like, cause the guy gets her, and he looks into her eyes, and she like screams, and then she turns around and she's like hunched over, and Ed grabs her like to comfort her, and I guess they were recording them, and Ed's like, "Go away," and it's
Yeah, and he just
that.
moves the cameraman out of the way. And basically, the scene cuts from there. Obviously, letting us know like, hey, like this ability that she has comes at a real cost. physical and mental cost. Obviously, it goes back to the house at night, and the cop is back, the assistant is back, and they're running another investigation. Obviously, because they need to get evidence. They didn't really get anything last night besides that door slamming.
Yeah, again, they
Which is
know,
not
they know
enough.
that they need to exercise whatever is here, but to get the permission from the Vatican or whatever, they need
Yeah.
evidence.
Yeah, they need solid evidence. They can't just fucking have a door and that's it. So it shows the cop and the assistant is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna reload because I mean he's a cop, so he needs to reload on some coffee, ladies and gentlemen. He's making coffee and then he hears a sound outside. He hears like the wind chimes or something. He's peeking out and he sees there's a rocking chair and it's just kind of moving back and forth. Pure darkness, by the way. And then you hear a woman. It's like, look what she made me do.
Yeah, like a whisper.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a whisper, right? And then he opens the back door, turns on the light, peeks out.
He's
He
looking
looks
for
to
who
this-
said that.
Yeah, he's obviously looking for a woman, dude. This man is not fucking deaf. So he's like, okay, steps out, goes into the porch. He's looking into pure darkness, which is I think is fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Especially if you just heard a voice.
Well,
Yeah.
he's a skeptic, right? So,
Yeah.
So he's just staring out into nothing. He doesn't see anything. Walks back in, but he's looking back the whole time. He's looking out into the darkness. Comes back inside. Just keeps on staring back there, and then
You see like a woman standing and she's like wearing like a maid
Like
outfit.
a maid's outfit. And
she's
again-
like the doorway to the right of him,
Look what you made me do.
and she's like showing him her
Wrist.
wrists. And she walks away into the room. He follows her.
Look what you made me do. Fucking yells at
Yeah.
him, dude.
Goes
She comes out of
towards him,
nowhere.
yeah, and
Attacking
he
him,
like
basically.
falls, yeah. And he's like, Ed. So everyone goes, right?
It's like I saw a woman. There was a woman dressed here as a maid, and then we get the giant click of the still cameras. One of the little girls is actually walking into a room, but they're like, "Oh no, she's sleepwalking. Like it's fine." And they're just like, "No, wait. We need this." It's like, "Why do we need pictures of Cindy?" It's like, "No, she didn't trigger it." Like, what do you mean she didn't trigger it? Like somebody's with her.
Like,
Again, bringing
a
it
drop
ba-
of temperature.
Yeah, bringing it, making sure that it's very clear that the drop of temperature is the one actually making the still cameras go off. So they just wait and they watch the little girl go into
The older
the older
sisters,
sister's room.
Again, this is the room with the little dressing.
the
wardrobe.
the wardrobe.
The wardrobe.
They're trying to open the door and they can't because the door closes as soon as she walks in there. And then we hear a voice and it says, "Look, this is where I hide."
And Lorraine goes with the assistant to hear the microphones that are in the room.
Follow me this way.
And I think Lorraine's hearing that too.
Yeah, because at this point they're like, "There's someone in the room with her."
And finally, they're able to get through the door.
And the room's super cold.
And it's well, it's not empty, but
Yeah,
there's
they
no
check,
there's no girl.
Yeah,
no
they
girls.
checked windows, they checked under the bed, they checked everything possible. They even checked the wardrobe itself, and there's no one there. It's like, where'd she go? Where'd she go, Ed? The dad's like frustrated. He's like, dude, we just saw her go in here. And then Ed tells the cop, he's like, okay, get the UV light. Like, what is that? Oh my god. Just ask for the UV light. He knows what it means. And then I love this scene. He goes downstairs. He goes to the assistant. And he's like, I need a UV light.
The way he said it.
Yeah, the way he pronounces it is fucking hilarious. So he
Dude,
runs back up.
you can see like the way he's breathing, like the adrenaline is still going. Like he just saw a maid, he got attacked. You have to go up there. The girl is missing. Now you have to go downstairs, get a UV light. You don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, you're just there as a fucking. You're just there as another pair of eyes and ears, dude. That's it. So
Okay, so he comes back with the UV light, he gives it to Ed, who's looking around the room. He finds the footsteps, and he follows them, and they're going to the
The
wardrobe.
wardrobe.
I love that they did that. The assistant showed that to the big sister. You know, kind of like a little flirting scene, but it was mainly for us. Like this is what the UV light is for, and this is them actually using it for its real purpose instead of fucking flirting.
Yeah.
So now they take a better look at the wardrobe. They're checking
It's
the
like a
backside of
false
it.
bottom or something.
It's a false
It's a false
back.
back. It's a
Yeah.
false back.
Yeah, they slide it to the side, and they see there's a hole in the wall. Like, okay, well, shit. And this is where they found the girl.
And this is where, if you were reading it with subtitles, if you had it with subtitles on, it tells you Rory, the little ghost kid, was the one actually guiding this little girl, and like, this is where I hide. You would see in the subtitles. And that was obviously his hiding spot, dude. So
Yeah.
we get Lorraine.
And if it
breaking
wasn't
into-
clear with the subtitles, you get the little girl seeing her sister come out of the closet, and like the rest of the girls follow her, and she goes, "Oh, that's where Rory likes to hide."
Yeah, the girl that first saw him. You're right.
Yeah.
And so Mrs. Lorraine here comes into the little crawl space, I guess.
Mhm.
Between
Doing
the
some
walls.
super unsafe shit, by the way.
Yeah.
And you could see these little toys, little things that a little boy would have
Yeah.
to play with while he's hiding, I guess. And you could even see a spot where there's a little bit of less amount of dust on the little pentagon or whatever. It's like hexagon, actually.
Hexagon, yeah, that's the
And she's like, "Oh, can you get me that toy that you had, the
little music box.
little music box?" Yeah, yeah. And she gets it. She fits it perfectly into the hole. It's like, okay, well, this is where it was. This is where it should have been, at least,
Yeah.
right? Because the girl said she found it on the outside.
Yeah.
This is where we get some fucking creepy ass shit. We got Lorraine and she kind of like kneels down because she sees like a rope. She pulls it up. She's pulling it, pulling it,
Well,
pulling it.
it's the whole, the rope is coming out of a hole in the
Right.
floor.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's pulling it back up, and she pulls it all the way up, and
It's a
at the-
fucking noose,
at the end of it, you
dude.
see the noose, and it's all
It's
covered in
the
cobwebs,
rope.
unused, I guess.
Mhm.
But I guess it could be the noose that the witch used. Yeah.
I feel like
think
it's kind of
so.
implied, right? I feel
Yeah.
like that's just kind of like, oh, the witch hung herself and now we're finding a noose.
Well, I always
know
thought
what I
like
mean?
it was meant to be that, like, oh, like it was her tempting other people to kill themselves.
Well,
It
nobody
wouldn't
got
be covered in
hanged though.
cobwebs. It wouldn't be covered in cobwebs.
Yeah, well, no one used it in the end.
Well, they used knives. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it was meant for anyone else to use it because they would always use like knives or they would be drowned. It was never like, oh, they got hunged.
Yeah,
That's
because
why I
at this
think
point
it's
she
the
didn't.
witch.
I think the witch wouldn't hang them because it was more of an actual sacrifice towards Satan, like she says.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Because she does kill herself. She's not killed off. She kills herself and proclaims her love to Satan, and she jumps off the fucking tree and hanged herself. So I don't think that's something that she would want for her victims. I feel like it'd be more of a different type of torture.
I guess I could see it that way. I mean, just the first way. When I first saw it, I assumed it was more of a nefarious kind of thing. Like it was like, oh, well, this is the news that they were tempting the little boy with because it was in the little boy's hole. And phrasing.
Get it? Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Little boy's hole. The toll troll. Love that episode, ladies and gentlemen.
I've never seen that show.
Oh, that's
I
really amazing.
recommend it, dude. Recommended to all of our listeners as well.
Yeah, it's always sunny in Philadelphia. It's still very current, I think.
Yeah,
It's still going on?
It's still
yeah.
on.
It actually won. Off topic, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, dude. It's the longest running, I guess, live action series that there is right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Damn. How many
So-
seasons?
It's at 14 or 15 now.
I want to say 15.
I know it passed Cheers. I think that was the previous one.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was the previous one.
Yeah, and it passed Cheers.
But yeah, that's crazy. Props to those motherfuckers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, going back to where we were, we see Lorraine. We see Lorraine in the little hiding spot,
Yeah, she's
which
staring at
looks
the rope.
completely. She's just standing on little pieces of wood, by the way. Like this looks very unstable.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she falls fucking through. She falls through and she's fucking yelling, and Ed is like, Lorraine, Lorraine.
Yeah,
She's
freaking
fucking
out.
running downstairs. He's looking for her like in the walls. Like he's tapping the wall to see where the fuck she's at. But lo and behold, she actually goes all the way to the fucking basement.
Yeah, she fell all the way down.
Yeah, and she comes down through like this hole in the wall that there was in the basement too, because this house is old as fuck. I mean, if we're going back to Salem, right? She's under a little table, I guess, which is where the hole lit up to be, like under a table. And she has a little flashlight, the flashlight she had with her, and she's just looking around. Everything's complete darkness.
I'm even surprised that she's like in the right frame of mind to be able to find the flashlight and start looking around. I feel like if I fell down a hole into darkness, I'm fucked at that point.
That's it. Goes dead, guys.
You know
Like,
what's funny? That the music box fell down with her, but the music box was in a shelf with other toys, and none of the other toys fell. It was just the music box.
ugh, plot holes, dude.
And so she picks up the music box. She starts looking through the mirror on it.
Yeah, she puts the music. She does wind it up.
Yeah. And she sees a figure behind her, and she hears, "Look what she made me do." Another whisper, different voice this
Yeah.
time.
Turns around and there's no one there. She goes back to the music box. Music box closes, and the apparition is right in front of her. Like, look what she made me do. And they hear creaking. The spirit and Lorraine, and they're both scared, and they're standing right in front of each. I mean, they're sitting right in front of each other, and they're both looking to where the creek is happening. I think that is what's most terrifying.
That's
There's
pretty
a
spooky.
spirit in front of you, and the spirit is also scared of this other presence.
Yeah.
And we kind of get to see what it is after a little bit of looking. You get to see some feet swing in front of her as if.
Yeah, almost hit her.
Yeah, it looked like it because at this point it's basically the witch hanging
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah, it's
But
the
we
witch's
see it like
hanging,
if she
yeah.
just fell, like if she just hung herself. It looks fucking scary.
And I find it really cool how it turns towards her, and then
The feet, right?
yeah, and then the feet go, I
Towards
guess,
where she was.
yeah,
That's fucking terrifying, dude. But it's fucking great scene. I love that.
yeah,
And obviously Lorraine's like gets up and she starts running because she knows where she's at this point. She starts running away from the spirit and she's like, "Oh no, whatever, running, fucking get me the fuck out of here." And we see that little necklace that her daughter had given her, and it's
Yeah.
being pulled, dude, by nothing. It's being pulled by nothing, and it just rips off her neck. Then we just see it hanging, and it's kind of very obvious, or it was very well placed where we could see it, and they're having a little camera right on it, where it's just dangling, letting us know that, hey, it's at the house. It's kept there. Like,
Yeah.
they kept it. And then she runs upstairs, and running like she possesses the mother to kill the child.
And
That's
they're
what the
like,
spirit is
"What?"
doing. Yeah.
and then she's like, "I know what she's doing. I know what she's doing. That's what the bruise marks are." And she's taking a hold of Carolyn.
She visits her at night. She's feeding off of her, yelling. And at this point, we get the whole house, like we hear just rattling.
And it's the first thing, the crosses. And all that they had set up all over the house, they start rattling and they start falling over.
You can get one of the girls go, Nancy, and you see Nancy's hair being pulled up by no one. And then she starts flying across the room. All the guys are trying
By
to get a
her
hold.
hair,
Yeah,
dude.
by her hair. And all the guys are trying to get a hold of Nancy, and they can't. They
Yeah,
keep slipping or.
And
It's-
it's so strong because at this point we see Ed and the father holding Nancy down, and it's dragging all three of them down through this girl's hair, or
Yeah.
with this girl's hair. Is fucking ridiculous.
Moving
Yeah.
way too fast, too.
Yeah, and we see at that point, Lorraine just gets fucking fed up and is like, you know what, fuck this hair, and she cuts it with some pair of scissors, and we actually get the assistant. We get another, I guess, a camera angle where we look at the assistant, and he's actually recording. Like that means they caught that shit
Yeah,
on
and
tape. I'm surprised they didn't. They didn't do like, oh, by the way, like real footage, and then they showed that. Like if they actually did capture that, like that would have been fucking great, you know?
I guess that could
Yeah.
have been cool, but it's also like, I think they did it that way just so that you know that, like, oh, fuck, like, they were just in the moment. They were focused on saving the girl, right?
Yeah.
They think of the evidence as after the fact, after the safety, right?
And
Thankfully, someone was recording.
Yeah, the assistant doing
The
his
assistant doing his
job.
fucking job, dude. That's what he's there for. Ed
So-
and Lorraine do all the heavy lifting. You take care of all the spirits, and the assistant will do the rest.
Yeah. So what was the girl that you guys said that didn't experience anything?
I want to say it was the older daughter.
The oldest daughter got attacked by the witch.
Right now, yeah. But I mean, like, what about the girl with the glasses? She didn't. Nothing really happened to her. The
That's
one-
Nancy.
That's Nancy right now, dude. That bitch got her
It's
fucking
the
hair
oldest
torn out.
daughter. She got attacked by the witch, and when she was atop of the wardrobe. And then I'm gonna say it's Nancy. Nancy just got pulled, like the hair got pulled.
She's the one with glasses. That's
Yeah.
in the room with Christy.
Yeah, and then
Oh, I guess-
Christine
She
experienced.
looks way
that.
different without the glasses and her hair down.
Yeah, and then Christine got that voice telling her that was gonna kill the family. The little girl
sleepwalking
sees
one.
Rory, and sees
the-
Rory, and she's the one. Well, I'll just get to because that's at the end of the movie, and then the other one is the sleepwalker, and she also sees the witch when it attacks the older
Oh,
sister.
That's true.
I guess she's not being attacked though.
The
I guess
sli- the
they're all
older
being
sister.
they're all being affected, but
Shit, that bitch is mentally attacked. Dude.
No, I mean,
I would
like,
be
the-
freaking the fuck out if I
yeah, the
saw
one
that
that's
shit. Just
the one that's
attacking
saying
my
that. Yeah, I
sister.
guess so.
Obviously, didn't do shit. By the way, thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Well, I guess every daughter was necessary.
Yeah,
for a
all the
different spook.
daughters were necessary.
All right, so everyone's already leaving the house, and it's like, okay, we got all the evidence that we need. Like, stay the fuck out of the house. We're gonna come back because at this point everyone's sure. Like, you know what? We got the evidence. We're gonna get the exorcism. We're gonna get the permission that we need from the Vatican. Let's get the fuck out of here. They start packing all the equipment, and it's just everyone leaving the house. No one staying behind.
You get a little scene with Lorraine. She's sitting in the van, looking out at something. And then she's actually walking away. She walks towards the tree and the pier that's here at the house.
Mommy.
She actually hears something and she starts walking out to the pier. Yeah, she hears mommy. And she looks down at the water and she sees a body floating.
Yeah, she sees her little girl floating in the water.
Oh, her little girl floating just under the surface.
Yeah.
She's like, Judy, Judy. And she starts hitting the fucking water. And did you notice that they made the necklace like super like
Yeah.
relevant? Like, here it is. This is it.
Yeah.
Lorraine runs inside the
She tries
house.
to grab the daughter, but she's not there, obviously.
Yeah, she runs inside. She gets the phone. She calls her mom, and she's like, "Where's my like?" Basically, go check on Judy. Is she fine? And she's crying.
Yeah.
And Ed is like, "What? What's going on? Like, tell me." And then like she's like, "Wait," like, and she's trying to hear what the mom's saying, and then the mom's like, "Oh, she's fine." And then you just see Lauren go. And then she tells Ed that she had a vision of Judy in the water, and you know that she knows that it was some kind of warning.
Is anyone else in love with these two?
Dude,
fucking
I love them.
characters?
I love they have great chemistry. I really
They
like.
should break up with their actual partners and just be together forever.
They just live in the 60s.
Yeah, dude, go back in time. You know, just throw them back there. That motherfucker has some badass sideburns, dude.
Dude, go back in time, fucking buy some Apple stock.
Ah, dude. Buy some Bitcoin, bro. I don't know what the fuck you're talking
Okay,
about.
well, you got some time before you buy Bitcoin.
Shit.
You
Whatever,
buy Bitcoin
guys.
with
Go
the
back
money.
in time. Buy some stocks. You know, we'll talk about it later. You're welcome.
So stocks is a big topic in the friend group right now. That's why they keep bringing it up.
Honestly. So,
It's
and we
relevant
get
in society right now.
I mean, it's always been relevant. We just jumped in. Whatever. Back to the movie. We get a giant cut, and it's them, and it's just panning over a church, and it's slowly going like into the giant room where the priest is at, I guess. And it's him witnessing the evidence. Like, oh my god, you know, like this is what we need. Like, I'll get the approval, and I'll push it through myself. And he's like, Father, we've never seen anything like this. And they're showing the pictures. They showed the father looking at the pictures. It's like, yeah, well, neither have I. And they show the little girl sleepwalking with the still pictures, and they see the ghost of Rory. He was guiding her.
You know, right behind her.
Mm-hmm.
But the priest is kind of hesitant at first, though.
Yeah.
Then he's finally like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll push it myself. And I feel like at that point, if you're a priest, won't you just decide to go and do the exorcism?
I guess because maybe he's not an exorcist. Not all priests know how to perform exorcisms.
That's fair.
Yeah, so
You also need permission from the Vatican. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna do it.
yeah, at that point you're a fucking vigilante, dude. Vigilante priest, dude.
Dude, that could be a good anime.
Shit. Dude, there's already a movie called
Monster of
Priest.
the Week.
Monster. All right, we get a cut of the. After that, we get a cut, and it's nighttime already, and we're looking at Ed and Lorraine's house, and we see the pendant. The necklace
Yeah, the daughters.
in Judy's room, and it's just like going in circles there where she's sleeping, and we get that same pool that no, it wasn't that.
Christy.
We got the same pool of the leg that Christy got,
Yeah.
and
They
it
also,
wakes her up.
They also show the necklace at the
house.
Conjuring house, and it's doing the same movement as the necklace that
But I
Judy
guess
has.
It's the connection that the necklace has
Yeah.
that the ghost was using to make it in here. Or the demon, rather. I don't know.
Yeah, the demon is using the necklace to get to Judy.
And we see Judy gets out of bed. She turns on the light to the hallway, and we get an angle of her
It's a
From
very
the-
nice shot
from
of her at the top of the stairs and just a dark hallway of the stairs. They make it look longer than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she opens the door to her parents' room, like, Mommy, Daddy, like, and they're still not back home, obviously, because they're dealing with the whole, getting the
Priest.
permission for the Vatican and all that crap. So we see her going down the stairs, and it's thunder. It's raining really intense, and we get the door to the room where Annabelle is at, and all the haunted artifacts that you would say. and the door's wide open. When we all know that shit's locked, and that only Ed and Lorraine have the keys to that on person all the time.
So
Door's open.
Judy, for whatever reason, sees this as an invitation and
She
walks
Children.
doesn't walk in though.
Children.
She
Oh,
doesn't walk in. No,
Oh,
she
she's
just
not
says
walking in.
she just says dad, and she kind of like peeks in. She knows she's not supposed to be there, so it's just dad and not there. Okay, and she leaves, but she leaves the door open.
And we do see that Annabelle's not in her cupboard, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She leaves the door open. She's looking upstairs like she's gonna go back to her room.
And then lights go out.
Not just that, dude. Darkness takes over. Because
Yeah,
we still have the
that's a good way to
thunder, but
explain
you see the darkness just growing towards her, and she
Yeah.
freaks out and runs to like I believe it's like the extra room that they have. I don't know what it is. I guess
It's like a little den, or I don't know.
Oh no, she did ask for Nana. She was screaming for Nana.
Yeah.
And then she locks the door, and something hits the door. Like it's pounding. It's hitting the door, and she's covering her ears, like yelling because she's freaking out. Pounding stops. Lights go out in the room.
Again, the darkness takes over. It's not like the lights go out like in an
Yeah,
instant, they
no,
fade
no.
away.
You hear the chair moving, and Judy turns around, and there's someone holding Annabelle in a
Combing her hair.
rocking chair, and she's combing Annabelle's hair, and
She's breathing, sort of.
Yeah, like raspy.
And she turns around to look at Judy, and Judy freaks out.
Annabelle turns around.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, Annabelle
the
turns
image, the actual witch doesn't turn around. You just see
it's
Annabelle's
just
head
Annabelle.
spinning.
She runs towards the door. She tries to open. She's screaming for her grandma, and obviously the door can't open. The Nana is not strong enough to open the door either.
She's barely strong enough to fucking walk to that goddamn door. And then we see Ed and Lorraine pulling up, and Lorraine gets these feelings like, hey, something's wrong. Like, hurry up. Because, again, she has disability, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they go and they run, and they're there at the door, and they're trying to knock it down. Ed is forcing it as hard as he can. He can't open it. And we see the chair being thrown at her where Annabelle and this apparition was sitting.
Mm-hmm.
He opens the door.
Right
Chair
in
gets
time.
thrown at her. Yeah, dude. Chair gets thrown at her. And she carries her out of the room, and you just hear the chair just fucking explode. It's like there was someone holding Annabelle, and just crying. Like they were holding Annabelle.
Ed walks towards the room, opens the door, which was open.
Yeah.
He opens the door and walks towards Annabelle, and Annabelle's sitting right where she's supposed to.
Tee tee.
Yeah. Then he even checks the door to see if it's unlocked, and we get the sound, the dun, whatever, for the music as it zooms into Annabelle.
And it's the mother consoling the daughter, like everything's okay, everything's fine.
That warning was real. That warning that she got at the Conjuring house was real.
And so it cuts away, and we get the Volkswagen van
Arriving at
into
the hotel.
where the whole family is at this point. And some of the sisters come out, and they're like, "Oh, well, Mom left with Christy. Mom left with Christy." And
Christine
She smelled like rotten
and,
meat.
and Cindy or something like that. And
Oh,
she
yeah, yeah.
smelled like rotten meat.
And so they're freaking out. They know she's going to the house.
Mm-hmm.
The Lorraine, the Warrens get a call. And it's like, hey, she took off with the kids and whatever. And then Lorraine's like, oh my god, like that's what she does. She takes over the mother and kills the kid. And then we get like everyone kind of rushing. I don't want to say it's a montage, honestly, because it's Ed and Lorraine like about to run to the car, and then we get the father like telling the girls like, okay, lock up, you guys stay here. And then you see him take off in the Volkswagen.
And we get a scene of the Warrens arguing because Ed doesn't want Lorraine to go, but Lorraine has to be there.
Yeah. He's like, I can't lose you.
Fucking hate this cheesy shit, dude.
Let's finish this together.
Damn. I fucking love this whole movie, but I feel like moments like that are kind of unnecessary because their love is already just very well played out with these characters because they have great chemistry. I feel like they don't have to say shit like that.
I think it's fine. It doesn't take any. Do you think it takes away something from the?
Yeah, because what's happening is actually less important than their love, apparently.
Well, no, it's like he cares about her safety.
He cares about her safety.
He cares
but
about
they both
her no
stop.
matter what.
Yeah,
is
but
happening.
they both stop and they're like, "No, I can't have you." We need to finish this together, Ed. We need to finish it together. Like, really? Some bitch is about to kill her daughter, and you're over here arguing?
I don't know, you just saying
Take
that to
care
me,
of it.
dude. I'm getting teary-eyed. So,
Damn, dude.
I
Why-
think it works.
Maybe
I
it's
think it
needed.
works.
Maybe it is needed.
By the way, I messed up the names. It's Christine and April, the girls that she took.
Okay.
Okay, Christine and April.
So we get a cut to the actual house, the Conjuring house. And he's like, Carolyn. The father was already there because he wasn't wasting any fucking
Damn,
time.
the
Like getting
cop.
Yeah, the cop fucking comes in, guns blazing, dude.
Shotgun to
Yeah.
the fucking door.
Yeah, because he couldn't get the door open, so...
They blast off the handle and then they make their way in. And of course, first thing they do is go to the basement. where
Andrew's already there, the father's there, and the mother's holding, I think it's Christine. Yeah, Christine. And she's holding a pair of scissors, and she's like ready to stab her daughter.
No,
Yeah, get
all the
stabbed.
guys get on top of her and fucking pull her away, pull the scissors from her.
Take her to the exorcist. We need to take her now. We need to get her out of the house. Where's Christine? She's in the car. Find April. Find April. April, come on. A whole fucking
No, they're
dramatic
taking
scene.
Christine to the car.
Yeah, they're taking Christine to the car. They're looking for April.
Yeah, and as they're forcing the mother out of the house, you see all the prints, all the bruises that the mom had get more severe, and you get like a giant noose around her neck. I
Yeah.
thought that was a great addition that they're doing.
Well, she's dying as they try to pull her
Yeah.
out, and they're like, no, you can't pull her out.
Yeah.
The
The-
presence
the-
is killing her.
Yeah.
Then we get
She gets pulled to the basement, and while she's being pulled, it's like you can tell that it's Carolyn's not the witch anymore, and she's screaming for her husband. She's screaming, Roger!
yeah, dude, that scene was kind of sad, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, that made me feel really bad for the mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get a little scene with the assistant consulting the girl, and she's like, no, don't leave
Don't
me here."
leave me. And he's like, I have to go find April.
Doing his job, dude.
Yeah.
This man deserves whatever he got paid.
Unless it was very little, then he deserves more.
Well, I mean, it's the 70s, dude. I'm pretty sure he got paid shit anyways.
And I'm sure that shit is a lot better than we're being paid right now.
I'm
so-
pretty sure he put it in stocks. Honestly.
Because stocks are in the mind zeitgeist right now.
Yeah, dude.
Everyone's thinking about stocks right now.
Okay, so it cuts to the basement. Ed and Roger are holding Carolyn. Lorraine's freaking out, and Carolyn pulls Roger away. She's choking Ed, and then
She
the
pulls
cops.
him away one-handed, dude.
Yeah.
Throws him across the room, showing us that supernatural strength here.
And she's kind of strangling the guy.
Yeah, and then the cop goes to try to get a hold of her, and she turns and bites his cheek.
It bites a chunk off.
Yeah,
dude. And you see like blood gushing out of the wound and shit.
Lorraine gets a
Like
blanket.
a blanket. Yeah, one of the things that was covering the furniture down there and just covers her face. She gets a chair and is like, okay, let's get something to tie her up. And they start putting her in her chair. They tie her down to the chair and they're holding her down.
And they're trusting rope that they found in the basement.
Yeah.
The handy dandy rope, dude. Blue's Clues taught me all that shit.
And so, still covered in the sheet, they tie her up, Lorraine, to the chair, where you can just see her head bobbing back and forth in the struggle.
She's still trying to get a hold of them with her hands, because obviously they're not tied down. And then the cop goes and he puts one of the handcuffs on her, and one of the hand to the chair. Sorry, not both hands.
I think this scene right here is great. They're tying her down. It's like, okay, I gotta call Father Gordon. We gotta get him out of here now. And then Lorraine's like, he's too far. Like, she's not gonna make it. Look at her. She's not gonna make it.
Ed takes a few steps back.
Yeah, he comes to the realization. He's like, he's looking at everything that's happening. Okay, then you need to leave. Like, what are you talking about, Lorraine? And then Ed is like, okay, I have to do the exorcism. It's like, what? I thought you said I had to be a priest. You're not a priest. Well, you got a better idea?
And Lorraine's like, you can do it. You can do it.
He's like, get out of here. I'm not leaving you. Damn it, Lorraine, I'm not doing this with you here. Oh, my God. And then
Lorraine
he's
takes
like,
a
God
step
brought us
towards him.
together for a reason, and this is it. Like, fuck their daughter, no. Like, this is the reason why they were putting this earth together. And it's like, fine, get the book.
I completely understand, dude. They need to help families.
And Ed kind of takes out this crucifix that he had with him apparently throughout the whole time. And we get this crazy ass shot that we had talked about earlier.
I really like when they do that. They have Lorraine walking through the house, and they're filming from the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
And they turn the camera up, and then it's Drew looking for April.
Yeah, and it's
a
her like
weird
upside.
shot.
It's her upside down,
Mhm.
leaving the house, and then she's coming back in. It's her upside down going into the house. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Shows downstairs. It looks like the wife is struggling a little bit less, but she's still kind of like groaning and doing all these fucking crazy ass noises.
And this is
Yeah.
when the exorcism starts.
Yeah.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I'm not gonna get into the whole exorcism part of it because
I don't
it's
know
in
Latin.
Latin.
Yeah, we don't know Latin.
Bade rentur satanis. I mean,
Okay,
I'll
no,
read the whole
don't do
thing.
that.
Gesundheit.
No.
So he's reading out of the Bible. He's got a little bit of holy water that he splashes on her.
I don't think it's a Bible, by the way, because it's a different book that exorcisms
Whatever,
use.
dude. Well, what is it then? Tell me.
I'll look it up later, Carlos.
Okay,
Okay,
he's
so
reading
the
a book.
Exorcist book.
His favorite book, apparently.
Yeah, dude.
What's it called? I just want to talk about Roger's facial expressions. It breaks my heart because he's seen his wife go through this. He can't do anything, and his eyes are just tearing up, dude.
So Ed throws a little bit of the holy water. After saying a phrase, it splashes on her. You hear kind of a tss,
Yeah, dude, I like that.
and she roars, and Ed drops the vial. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's the first mistake here.
Showing fear, dude, in front of the enemy.
Yeah, you don't show fear, and you can't lose your fucking one of your weapons like that.
Yeah.
Just drop it on the ground. What are you gonna do?
Novice.
It cuts to Christine outside, and she's in the car, and then she hears a thud, and then a bird crashes into the car, and then it cuts to Andrew still looking for April around all over the house, and he kind of peeks outside, and birds are flying everywhere.
Andrew is the assistant, by the way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you see that all these birds on the outside, they're hitting the windows. They're bombarding the house.
Yeah, at this point, I think that's the spirit trying to just fucking reacting and pull everything that it can towards the house, you know? Make a fucking giant ass noise.
And we get to see all these CGI crows, all the birds, and one of them actually flies into the cellar through the little cellar window.
And Ed is still going. He's still chanting and fucking... And he's like, okay, wait, hold her still, because she's starting to get out. Like, she's starting, like, losing everything up here.
And he keeps on chanting, he keeps on saying Latin.
And then we get back to Andrew. He's still looking for April. April, he's yelling. He's fucking looking everywhere. He's looking at little hiding spots and shit. And then he hears it. He hears
He's in
crying.
the kitchen looking under the sink, and he hears crying.
Mm-hmm. And he starts pounding on the kitchen floor.
Because that's where you heard the crying come
Yeah. And it cuts to Ed and Lorraine performing Ed performing the exorcism.
And you got Roger consoling the wife, Carolyn, you can get through this.
from. Lorraine at the same time is like, don't let her take you. Don't let her take you. You're stronger than her.
And Ed is just continuing to the Latin, and we get a little shot of Carolyn just kind of convulsing, and she spits out blood into the sheet.
You have Roger get mad at Ed, telling him to stop, and then that's where Lorraine interferes and tells Roger, you need to understand we're fighting for her life.
For her soul. We're
her
fighting for
soul.
her soul at this point.
Yeah, understanding that she might die, but it's about her soul at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And this scene here, the sheet actually gets cut, and you can see a portion of
Yeah,
her face now.
because Ed is like, I command you to show yourself, I believe he says.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then the fucking thing rips, like you said, yeah.
And you can see half her face. You can see that she's possessed now.
Yeah, it's not the mother, dude. It's the witch.
Yeah, it's like a demonic exorcist character kind of face.
Yeah.
With the wide eyes and everything. Terrifying. And it had cut back to the assistant cutting down. He actually has an axe now. He's cutting into the floorboards, just completly ruining the house.
I know,
And
son
not
of a
caring
bitch,
about
dude.
the safety of the girl.
What if
She's
little
under the
girl's fucking
floor,
right
dude.
there, and boom, dude, gets stabbed in the head, dude. Movie over.
And it quickly cuts back over to them doing the exorcism here. We get a little bit of Carolyn actually peeking through of her own body, and she's asking Roger to help.
Yeah.
Super heart-wrenching.
Yeah, like it's just going back and forth, like on both personalities, I guess, at this point, or both entities taking over this body.
Showing that
Well, they're-
Carolyn is fighting.
Yeah, they're fighting.
Yeah.
And after a little bit of silence here,
The chair's levitating.
she stops moving in the chair. It starts levitating.
You see all everyone's facial expressions, and they're all just shocked. And then Ed decides to continue. Carolyn does this scream, and the chair turns around, and she is like sitting on the roof or
Upside down.
on the upside down, and it starts like slamming. It's a continuous slam, but I thought it was gonna do like the 3 hits like they had said earlier.
And then Ed's like, put her down. Like he stopped like chanting. He's like, put her down, I say. And the chair just falls and it completely breaks apart.
Yeah, head first.
Yeah.
And there's like they all go towards Carolyn, and there's like a wardrobe. I don't know. It's like this furniture thing, and it falls, and it almost hits Ed. Ed jumps out of the way, and Carolyn sits down, and she starts laughing.
They're like, hold her down, because the chairs are completely busted now. And Carolyn's laughing. And Roger's like, oh, you let her go, bring back my wife or whatever. And then the spirit just kind of looks towards him. It's like, she's already gone.
Yeah, and then we get the camera changes angles completely, and it's looking out from like the bottom of the stairs, and you see the shotgun. The shotgun starts kind of like moving a little bit, and then it falls forward, and it was gonna shoot Ed in the back. And we get the cop, superhero like, charge at Ed, and he kind of like tackles him out of the way. Fucking saved him from a fucking gunshot wound, dude. That was intense.
Yeah, and the scene cuts to Andrew, and Andrew finally got through the floor, and he sees April, and he's like, I found her, she's under the kitchen. Fucking stupid.
Yeah, dude.
And the mom hears, and she kind of like turns, and she pushes everyone away, and she's trying to get towards April.
Crawls over there like pretty crazy into that hole in the wall where I guess Lorraine had fallen earlier.
Yeah.
Because it looked like it was the same one, and she kind of just charges in there and just runs through the fucking bottom of the house.
And Lorraine decides to go through the inside of or like just to the kitchen, so she can go with Andrew and look at April, I guess.
And we'll say we're at the peak climax of the movie. Mm-hmm. It is so dark.
It really
is really dark. We get a couple flashlights, and we see that the mother finally caught up to the daughter and is holding the daughter, and she's about to fucking stab her because she picked up the scissors before she went into the hole. And she holds her hand up, and then Ed's like, Bathsheba! He fucking yells her actual name, and the demon looks at her.
At him.
And
Lorraine's looking through the hole that Andrew did, and she like grabs Carolyn's head, and she says,
oh, well, Ed, after saying the demon's name, is like, I command you to go back to hell.
And that's where Lorraine gets the head, and she's like, this is your daughter, you can't give in. And Ed tells Roger to talk to Carolyn.
Yeah, at this point, everyone's like kind of yelling at the same time. It was like, oh, you could do this, please don't let it happen.
You're stronger than her.
Yeah, you gotta fight against her. And
stay with us.
Come back, Carolyn.
Pretty intense. And then remember what you showed me, Lorraine, and she fucking like touches her, and he shows her that image of them at the beach.
Yeah, it's like she's forcing the memories back into her.
Yeah, and Carolyn's crying, dude. Oh my god, this scene.
And we start seeing light. Like light from where Lorraine is at kind of starts hitting her in the head. And then this is what you'll be leaving behind. And the crying continues. She's still crying. And the whole image of them at the beach, like it's super happy at the moment. Apparently it was the happiest moment of her life or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Roger is holding April through because he wasn't able to see or through a hole. It was kind of like he's putting his arms through floorboards or like wood boards. I don't know. And he's holding April through that.
And then at that point, Carolyn actually looks down on her daughter, and she starts throwing up. She starts throwing up what the spirit had originally put inside her when she was asleep. It looks exactly the same. Just a little bit more, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, we know that the exorcism has worked.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know if it's so much the exorcism or just her own free will, right?
Yeah.
But something has banished the spirit from her.
Carolyn turns to April, and April just gives her those big eyes, and then she just looks down. And scene cuts, and everyone's walking out of the house, and that's where Carolyn the sun touches her, and then all the bruises that she had disappear.
At this point, she's walking out of the house.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a combination of the sun and her being out of the house.
Yeah.
She grabs April and she's like, "I love you so much," and she's like, she's back to herself. She actually looks like she has a lot of energy now.
Mm-hmm.
All the girls didn't stay in the fucking house apparently because they're all showing up to the house. They didn't stay in the apartment, sorry, in the hotel. So they're all running towards her. Ed and Lorraine kind of go out and they're sitting on the porch looking at the happy family that they had talked about.
Yeah, they're the last ones out of the house.
Yeah.
And we get to see the cop holding his cheek.
I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to talk about that joke?
Yeah, I like that the assistant's looking at the cop and he's like, "Oh, Draft did that to your face?" And it's like, "I'd take a guy with a gun any day." And I just kind of like laugh it off.
Yeah.
He was like, "Shit, I wouldn't be laughing that shit off, dude." Like,
I know.
I'm about to sue Ed and Lorraine Warren for putting me in this danger.
Wasn't even on duty.
Sadly, shit.
But now he probably has to arrest the mother for assaulting the daughter. So.
No.
Honestly, we're gonna get into specifics, but I mean, whatever. And Ed and Lorraine, they're just kind of looking at the family again, and we see the little girl. The little
April,
girl walks.
yeah.
April walks up to Lorraine and gives her the necklace. The necklace that she had left there in the house, and they just kind of smile at each other. And Lorraine picks it up, looks at it.
It's good because it doesn't get left here for the demon again.
Yeah.
And everyone's holding each other. The Warrens are holding each other. The Rogers family, or whatever. I don't even know if they had a last name.
They didn't have a last name throughout this whole movie, dude, and they're just looking at each other and they just give like a nod to each other, like the guys.
Yeah.
They just kind of nod at each other, like "thank you." You know, that's basically what that was.
We get like a fadeaway shot of the house with all the cars in front of it that panic parked in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
And we cut away. It's the Warrens coming back to their house here.
And then Lorraine sees that she's gonna call a priest to let him know what happened, and Ed is like, yeah, that's a good idea, and he goes to the room where all the artifacts are, and he takes out the music box
From a bag that he had, and
yeah.
he sets it and gets a specific spot, moves something a little bit aside, he drags it to the side.
Yeah, I was going to comment
places
on that.
it.
Isn't he not supposed to touch this stuff?
Well, I mean, I think he can, but he doesn't want anyone else to touch it.
Breaking his own rules, dude.
And then Lorraine shows up, and she's standing in the doorway, and she's like, the Vatican approved the exorcism.
What about time?
Yeah, and then they just mentioned, like, they have another case, and
We have another case in Rhode Island.
yeah, and then Ed Warren closes the door, and a little...
Quote from Ed Warren, the actual person, comes up. Diabolical forces are formidable. These forces are eternal, and they exist today. The fairy tale is true, the devil exists, God exists. And for us, as people, our very destiny hinges upon which one we elect to follow.
Ed Warren.
And I think that's the end of the movie. Oh, well, we get a little tease right here for Annabelle, right?
It's the music box.
Oh,
And you hear the music, and the mirror is spinning like the music box does. I honestly thought it was gonna be like a jump scare at the end, but that's the jump scare. I think that's what makes it a little bit scary, that nothing happens.
Nothing happened. Like it's still there. Like they didn't get rid of it. Like they just brought it to their home.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you look into the mirror like you're looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure some people, they see something when they look into it like that, but just look into it, just looks like a bunch of stuff, right? No final
look,
spook.
that's the last name.
Oh, yeah.
Perron. The Perron family.
Yeah, we get to see pictures of the actual people this is based on
Yeah.
in the credits right here.
Directed by James Wong. Yeah, and that's kind of it. I mean, overall, I think that movie is great, and I didn't think it was overhyped, honestly.
Whoever said it was overhyped?
Shit,
Like,
I'm
maybe
pretty sure
some
it
people
was-
say it didn't warrant all the sequels, but
Yeah.
I think it got the sequels because the first one was so good.
Yeah. I really did like the first one.
Even the second one was real great.
The second one, yeah. I think I like the second one more than the first one. If that, I don't know. I feel like I like the story a little bit better, but the first one, I don't know. They're just completely two different stories, and they're both really good.
So before we end this here, I would just like to first thank all our listeners, but also I want to thank the people who made this movie here. Again, directed by James Wan. We got the producers, Tony DeRosgrund, weird name, Peter
Cut.
Stefan, Rod Cohen, written by Chad Haynes and Kerry Haynes. Interesting. Music by Joseph Baishera.
Great music, by the way. I really did like it.
It did have good music, yeah.
I think the only part where I was like, the music's not necessary,
Unnecessary.
was when April discovers Sadie, the dog.
Yeah, that was a little too much, but you get paid what you get paid for, right? So
Production companies: New Line Cinema, the Safran Company, Evergreen Media Group, all Evergreen. You gotta watch your boat, guys.
yeah, dude.
What's up with that?
See,
Blocking the Suez Canal.
I thought I guess I think they just showed pictures of the people, but I thought I remember them showing pictures of like the actual evidence. I remember seeing like the girl walking up the stairs, and
They showed, I guess in the end credits, they start showing the actual footage of the family, the mom and dad, and the girls.
yeah.
They showed Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they show a couple of images of the house, and they show like all of them in a circle doing a seance and shit like that.
Okay.
Those are things that weren't put in the movie, but they do show images. You're right, they do show a couple images here and there.
And just to cap it off here, I want to talk about the budget and how much they made in the
Here
box
we
Here we
office.
go.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're playing that game again.
Yeah, come up with your own guesses, and if you guessed right, good for you. Budget, it was $20 million. You guys
Okay.
want to guess how much it made?
I'm gonna go 500 million.
I am gonna go with 300 million.
All right, close as well, going over. That's Albert.
Yeah.
It was 319.5 million.
Oh, shit.
Woot woot.
And that's just theater stuff. This has nothing to do with the Netflix contract or,
Yeah, the DVDs and
or the
Blu-rays and all that
DVDs,
shit.
right? Yeah. Or how much they're getting for it to be on TV now. I don't even know.
That's true.
Because this is an old movie. This is 2013, Jam.
I wonder how much Ed and Lorraine Warren got. You know.
Right? How much of that 20 billion went to them?
Shit.
I say at least like. Well, they at
You
least
mean the
deserve
actors,
1 million.
The what?
They at least deserve 1 million.
At least they deserve 1 million.
But I say they should have also pulled for streaming rights.
Shit. I'm telling you right now, they probably got more money for the upcoming movies, like The Conjuring 2 and shit.
Yeah.
And this new one that's coming out,
It's 'cause-
The devil made me do it.
yeah,
It's because just simply showing the actors Ed and Lorraine, you're like, oh shit, the movie's gonna be good. That's
Yeah.
what they did with one of the Annabelles. They showed them in the previews and stuff like that. You watch the
pissed
movie.
me off, dude.
They only came out in the beginning and at the end.
They
That's
came
it.
in at the beginning, taking Annabelle. We'll talk about it later, guys.
Oh, yeah,
We'll talk
get
about
there.
it
We'll
later.
get there.
Sorry, Carlos. Sorry.
That's okay.
But-
We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
But just alone with those two actors, I was like, shit, this movie's gonna be good. I'm gonna watch it because of them.
Yeah.
That's why they put them.
By
Yeah.
the way, the movie wasn't even bad. I think it held up
Oh,
without
yeah.
them.
It was good, but Ed and Lorraine would have made it better.
All
They're
right.
perfect for each other.
And at this point, I think we're wrapping this up here. Again, I'm Carlos,
I'm Lety.
I'm Albert.
and we'll see you next time on the
Far Side of the Moon.